Star Fox 2. When people talk about canceled games that almost changed everything, Star Fox 2 was always near the top of the list. By 1995, the game was nearly finished. Nintendo and Argonaut Software had fully built a sequel to the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, and this wasn't just a quick follow-up. It introduced brand new characters, multiple playable ships, and an ambitious real-time strategy element where players defended planets on a constantly shifting map. For a 16-bit console, it was doing things nobody expected. But instead of shipping the game, Nintendo made the shocking call to cancel it. The reasoning was blunt: the Nintendo 64 was coming, and releasing a cutting-edge 3D title on old hardware could make their new system look less impressive. Even though Star Fox 2 was essentially complete, Nintendo locked it away, leaving fans confused and disappointed. The weirdest part is that this cancelled game never really disappeared. For years, unfinished builds leaked online, turning Star Fox 2 into a cult legend. Then, over 2 decades later, Nintendo stunned the world by officially releasing it in 2017 on the SNES Classic. What was once a myth became real, cementing Star Fox 2 as one of the craziest cancelled games ever. Earthbound 64. Few cancellations sting as much as Earthbound 64, also known as Mother 3 during its long and chaotic development. After the SNES cult classic Earthbound built a passionate fanbase, Nintendo announced a full 3D sequel for the Nintendo 64. This wasn't some small project either. Fans were promised a vast, emotional RPG unlike anything seen on the system. But years of delays, hardware limitations, and shifting expectations crushed the dream. The N64's cartridges simply couldn't handle the scale and detail the team wanted. Even when they attempted to move development to the N64 DD add-on, technical hurdles piled up. Screenshots and magazine previews teased strange, unforgettable characters, from cowboys and clay-like monsters to a cast that would later appear in Mother 3, but none of it ever reached players. In 2000, after nearly 4 years of development, Nintendo officially canceled the project. For fans, it was heartbreaking. The game had been hyped as a groundbreaking RPG, only to vanish completely. Thankfully, the story didn't end there. The concept eventually resurfaced as Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance in 2006. Still, the 3D Earthbound 64 remains one of gaming's most famous what could have been tales. Dead Phoenix. The GameCube had plenty of quirky titles, but none left a bigger mystery than Dead Phoenix. Announced in 2003 as part of the legendary Capcom 5 lineup, 5 exclusive games that were supposed to help turn the tide for the struggling GameCube, it instantly caught attention. The revealed trailer showed a massive, winged hero soaring through the skies, fighting hordes of mythological beasts with fiery attacks. It looked like a hybrid between Panzer Dragoon and Devil May Cry, and fans were convinced it could be the console's next big cult hit. But after its flashy debut, Dead Phoenix slowly disappeared. Unlike other Capcom 5 titles, Dead Phoenix was never seen again. Rumors swirled about its troubled production, ranging from budget cuts to a lack of faith in its ambitious design. By late 2003, Capcom quietly pulled the plug, leaving only trailers, screenshots, and concept art behind. What makes the cancellation so bizarre is how quickly it happened. Within months of being revealed, the project was gone, yet fans still debate what could have been. With no playable build ever surfacing, Dead Phoenix remains one of the GameCube's strangest mysteries, a ghost of a game that lived only in previews. Sadness. Of all the cancelled Nintendo games, none is stranger than Sadness, the elusive horror title once promised for the Wii. Announced in 2006 by Polish studio Nebrius, the concept immediately stood out. Unlike Nintendo's usual colorful output, Sadness was pitched as a dark, black and white survival horror game. Previews claimed it would use the Wii Remote in unsettling ways: torchlight mechanics, environmental interactions, even gestures for warding off enemies. Early concept art showed eerie, gothic landscapes and frightened characters that looked more like something from Silent Hill than a Nintendo console. The buzz was intense at first. Horror fans imagined the Wii's motion controls creating a new level of immersion, while magazines and websites hyped it as a bold experiment. But as time passed, cracks started to show. No playable demo was ever revealed, only vague promises and a handful of screenshots that many suspected were mock-ups. Developers dodged questions, and updates grew more inconsistent. By 2010, the truth came out. Sadness wasn't just delayed, it had never been close to completion. Nebrius confirmed the project was cancelled, leaving behind little more than rumors and speculation. What makes Sadness legendary is that it became the ultimate vaporware, a game that lived entirely in marketing blurbs and fan imagination. Even today, it's remembered as one of the Wii's strangest what could have been stories. If you haven't heard of some of these games before, then leave a like and subscribe down below. Mega Man Legends 3. When Capcom announced Mega Man Legends 3 for the Nintendo 3DS in 2010, it felt like a miracle. Fans had been begging for a new entry ever since Legends 2 ended on a massive cliffhanger back in 2000. The project was framed as something special, not just a sequel, but a community-driven game where players could give feedback on designs, characters, and mechanics throughout development. It was one of the first times a major publisher openly invited fans to help shape a title, which only amplified the excitement. Early screenshots and prototypes teased a vibrant, cel-shaded world and the long-awaited continuation of Mega Man Volnutt's story. The Legends games had always been quirky spin-offs compared to traditional Mega Man, mixing RPG elements with 3D action, but this sequel promised to refine everything. The 3DS launch window felt like the perfect home for it, too. Then, without warning, Capcom pulled the plug in mid-2011. The official reason was vague, citing lack of sufficient progress, but fans suspected internal politics and corporate hesitation after the series' creator left the company. Outrage was immediate. Thousands of fans launched petitions and campaigns begging Capcom to revive it, but nothing ever came. To this day, Legends 3 remains one of the most infamous cancellations in gaming, with the story literally left stranded in space. Sonic X-treme. When Sega fans think of cancelled games, nothing looms larger than Sonic X-treme for the Saturn. After the massive success of Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis, players expected the blue blur to make a flashy leap into 3D alongside rivals like Mario. Sega hyped Sonic X-treme as the franchise's big step forward, a 3D platformer that would showcase the Saturn's power and prove Sonic could dominate the new era. Early footage showed Sonic darting through fisheye lens levels, looping walls, and wild environments that looked unlike anything seen before. Behind the scenes though, development was a nightmare. Multiple teams in Sega of America and Sega Technical Institute worked on competing builds, often clashing with Sega of Japan. The Saturn's hardware was notoriously difficult, and developers struggled to get their ambitious designs running smoothly. At one point, the team even borrowed the Nights into Dreams engine to try salvaging the project. Meanwhile, deadlines piled up, stress skyrocketed, and key staff fell ill from the workload. By late 1996, Sega officially canceled the game, leaving the Saturn without a true 3D Sonic adventure. The fallout was huge. Many believe Sonic X-treme's collapse crippled the Saturn's reputation in the West, and caused Sega critical momentum in the console wars. To this day, it's remembered as one of the most infamous cancellations in gaming history. Castlevania Resurrection. The Sega Dreamcast had its fair share of ambitious projects, but none became more infamous than Castlevania Resurrection. Announced in 1999, it was pitched as a 3D revival of Konami's Gothic series starring Sonya Belmont, a heroine from the series' earliest timeline, and Victor Belmont, a brand new character. The idea was to mix classic Castlevania whip-based combat with expansive 3D stages, making use of the Dreamcast's cutting-edge hardware. Previews and magazines promised a bold reinvention, and fans were eager to see how Konami would adapt the franchise for the next generation. But almost as quickly as it was revealed, trouble set in. The project went through development struggles, management shakeups, and shifting creative visions. By 2000, just a year later, Konami quietly canceled it. No official demo was ever made public, and Resurrection quickly became a legend whispered about in gaming circles. Fans speculated endlessly about what it might have looked like, until 2021 when a prototype build surfaced online. For the first time, people could actually see Sonya Belmont exploring rough, unfinished levels, finally proving the game was real. The cancellation stung because it came during the Dreamcast's brief golden window. Losing a marquee title like Castlevania only deepened the console's struggles. To this day, Castlevania Resurrection stands as one of the Dreamcast's great what-if moments. True Fantasy Live Online. When Microsoft launched the original Xbox, it needed more than shooters and racing games to stand out. That's why the announcement of True Fantasy Live Online in 2002 was such a shock. Developed by Level 5, the studio behind Dark Cloud and later Ni no Kuni, this was set to be a massive anime-styled MMORPG designed to showcase Xbox Live. The pitch was simple but ambitious. Create a living, breathing online fantasy world where players could team up, fight monsters, and explore sprawling landscapes together, all from a home console, years before games like World of Warcraft hit mainstream dominance. The hype was enormous. Early previews highlighted colorful visuals, quirky characters, and Level 5's trademark charm. More importantly, it was meant to be the flagship game that sold players on Xbox Live, proving Microsoft could compete in online RPGs. But under the surface, development was turbulent. Technical hurdles made it difficult to achieve the scale promised, and communication between Microsoft and Level 5 reportedly broke down. By 2004, Microsoft announced the project was cancelled. The decision shocked fans, especially since True Fantasy Live Online had been positioned as one of Xbox's most important exclusives. Without it, the original Xbox leaned even harder on Halo, leaving RPG fans disappointed. Today, it remains one of the most painful lost opportunities in the console's history. Scalebound. Few cancellations in modern gaming felt as shocking as Scalebound. First revealed at E3 2014, this Xbox One exclusive came from Platinum Games, the studio behind Bayonetta and Nier Automata. It promised everything fans dreamed of: a massive open world, stylish action combat, and, most importantly, a giant dragon companion you could command in battle. Players would control Drew, a cocky, headphone-wearing hero who fought alongside his dragon in fast-paced encounters that blended Platinum's trademark flair with RPG elements. The concept immediately set the internet buzzing. Co-op multiplayer was teased, customization options for the dragon were shown, and trailers hinted at massive boss battles that pushed the Xbox One's hardware to its limits. Microsoft heavily marketed it as one of the console's defining exclusives, meant to rival Sony's growing stable of blockbuster titles. But behind the scenes, the development was far from smooth. Reports surfaced of miscommunication between Microsoft and Platinum Games, technical issues with Unreal Engine, and trouble scaling the ambitious project to Xbox's online infrastructure. After years of delays and silence, the hammer finally dropped in early 2017. Scalebound was cancelled. The backlash was immediate. Fans had already latched onto the game's style and potential, and its sudden cancellation felt like a massive missed opportunity. Even today, Scalebound is remembered as one of the biggest what could have been moments in Xbox history. Agent. When Rockstar Games announces something, people expect greatness. That's why Agent, first unveiled by Rockstar North in 2009 as a PlayStation 3 exclusive, immediately became one of the most talked about projects of the generation. The premise sounded incredible: a Cold War-era spy thriller packed with espionage, political intrigue, and globe-trotting action. Sony positioned it as a system seller, hyping it alongside other PS3 blockbusters. For a while, it looked like Rockstar was about to reinvent the stealth action genre the same way they had redefined open-world gaming with Grand Theft Auto. But after the flashy reveal, almost nothing followed. A handful of concept images leaked over the years, teasing desert outposts and snowy mountain bases, but Rockstar never showed gameplay. Rumors suggested it was meant to feature globe-spanning missions and intricate stealth mechanics, but no concrete details ever emerged. As time dragged on, it became clear something was wrong. The trademark was abandoned in 2018, yet Rockstar kept the game listed on its official website until 2021, when the page was finally removed. By then, fans had accepted the truth. Agent was never coming. Its cancellation wasn't just disappointing because of the game itself, it also became a symbol of how even the biggest studios can let projects vanish. To this day, Agent is remembered as one of the PlayStation 3's most infamous ghost games. What topics should I cover next? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.